Hello everyone.
And welcome to Parklands Church. It's really, really nice to come together today on this special Sunday. I can't believe it's the bank holiday.
Oh no. Do you have any fun plans, anyone? In the hubs? We've got people watching, gathering in our first hub this morning, so good morning to you. And we've got people watching online as well. So if you let us know your bank holiday plans. What are you up to? What are you going to be doing?
Yeah, or let us know if you're watching from your tent or wherever you may be around the country right now. So I'm sure everyone is enjoying their freedom, which is really nice. But it's just great that we're able to connect like this. And it is great that we're able to keep being online as well as starting to bring in person. It does mean we can be anywhere in the country right now.
Exciting. And I just was thinking about, you know, a lot of us, we may not have met in person or we haven't seen each other for a long time, and just wanted to play a little game. It's going to be my trademark soon, playing a game just to get to know each other a bit better. So if you're in your hub, all you need is a hand to raise, or you can wobble your head, do whatever just to indicate that that is you. Get ready in a hub. If you're watching at home, you can either raise a hand with whoever's next to you or type in the chat your answer over the hand emoji, or just say, yes, that's me.
Excellent.
Because
yes, that's me now.
Yes. Yes, that's me. I'm here. I'm ready to play.
Okay.
So my first get to know each other better question is, so put your hand up in your hub or at home or on the chat if you speak another language. We want to know who speaks another language. Dean's putting his hand up behind the camera. Who else speaks another language?
I'm really bad at languages. I really try.
Not Scouse. It's not another language, just an accent.
That's just an accent. That's for another Sunday.
Okay, speaks another language, another personal one. Put your hand up wherever you are if you have blue eyes. A little hand emoji in the chat if you have blue eyes. How many? I wonder how many of us there are who have blue eyes. Yeah.
Join our club. Sunglasses on.
Okay.
Squinting.
Next one, hand up, look around you, who you're with. If you've ridden a motorbike, this might be some secret things that have come out now. I rode like one at Legoland when I was a child, but
Does an electric bike count?
I don't guess so. Controversy is an electric bike a motorbike.
Not really,
but
still.
Is that you? Put your hand up. Next one, hand up if you're an eldest child. Who are the eldest children in the church? It may say a lot about us.
Yeah.
You're eldest, I'm youngest.
Oh, there we go.
Probably a bit more, a lot to say about youngest children. Hand up in the hub, you'll probably be able to see this, or at home, if you're wearing blue today. Because I actually think this is the most worn colour, so I want to see how many people are actually wearing blue.
To be honest, I have a lot of blue.
Yeah, blue eyes, blue outfit. You have to match yourself.
It's easy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Easy. Know your colours. Okay, this is a controversial one. If you eat scones, or scones, how you pronounce them, put your hand up if you are a cream then jam person. Or it's a split room here. Yeah, I'm a jam then cream.
Yeah,
hand up if you're a cream then jam.
I was just saying to you, wasn't I? To be honest, I never get many scones in Wales. And I'm very excited because I'm going to be in Cornwall next week. And I'm going to have...
Eat your fill of scones.
I'm going to have my fill of scones and pasties.
That's probably a good time to note that Matt is going to be in Cornwall this week, so he is not going to be contactable. So he's on holiday, well-deserved holiday. So if you do have anything you want to talk about, please contact someone else in the staff. If it's urgent, speak to Mike Adams. You can email one of us, email admin at Parklands Church. We'd love to hear from you, but just give Matt his break in Cornwall with his scones of jam and cream. Okay, a few more. Hands up if you are an extrovert. Extrovert.
What if you're both?
Well, I feel like I'm an introverted extrovert.
I'm an extroverted introvert.
Ooh, there we go.
Maybe.
We get a lot of no's here.
Right, okay.
Introverts for eyes.
We're getting shut down by the guys behind the camera.
Yeah. Okay, a few more. If you have broken more than 2 bones in your body, put your hand up, say, is that anyone broken more than 2 bones?
I've done all right.
And maybe say what they are to the person next to you in the chat. Okay. Oh, put your hand up if you like Hawaiian pizza.
I know who does in my family. My daughters absolutely love it.
Yeah. Millie and Meg, hope your hands are way up in the air.
They love their pineapple.
To be fair, I just love pizza, so anything's good for me. Next one, hands up if you have been skydiving.
Ooh, you've been skydiving?
Yeah, been skydiving. Did a little charity dive. It's how part of mine and Michael's courtship was a charity dive together. in separate. Oh yeah, I wouldn't skydive together without a professional. Anyway, just 3 more. Hands up if you have never had a filling in your teeth.
Now we see who's got
who looks after their teeth.
2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening, all adds up.
And who needs to go to the dentist? I've not been in a while. Okay. Second to last one. Hands up if when you get dressed, you put your socks on first. If your socks are the first things to go on. Yeah. 1 in 4 here. It's a very controversial thing. Some people think it's super odd. Some people love it. Okay, and final one. Hands up if you like Marmite.
Oh.
May split the church. Hands up if you like Marmite. Just me. Okay.
It's just not good. It's just not good.
Oh, it's so good. But hopefully, look around you in the hub. Who's been putting their hands up? Hopefully, you know each other a little bit more. In your household, you may have found out some secrets. And online, hope we have a lot of hands up for people who have.
Yeah, I'd be really interested to see all the comments now.
Yeah.
Flying through.
You like blue, you like cream rather than jam on your Hawaiian pizza while skydiving.
Excellent.
You're my people.
Sounds good.
It's great.
It's just great though, isn't it? Just to be able to connect. And I think that's what we're desperate for in this next season, is just bringing people together. And we'll share a little bit more about that today, later in the service. Yeah. We've got an interview with Johan today, talking about something he's really passionate about. And actually it's really good just to sort of round off our Wonderful Life series, and which has been really good. I loved Sean last week. I just thought so good. The sensitivity and just the simplicity of what he brought from the heart was amazing. And yeah, so you've got a good fun one today on this fun bank holiday, on this sunny bank holiday, which is lovely.
Sunny. And as we're about to move into worship, I just wanted to share something that God's been prompting me throughout the week with, and I just felt God speak to me about possibly a person, and if this is you, I'd just love to pray for you in a second, but I felt like this person had been waking up in the middle of the night actually really, really worried about your finances, and actually this person hadn't told anyone else that this was either an issue for them or something that they were struggling with, and it was actually something that's really, really gripping you right now. I just felt God just wanted to say that you are so loved, that he just wants to speak to you and bring his peace and his love upon you, but also just that gentle challenge to share that with someone else, to share that we're a family here. If one of us, someone that you know, just let them know what you're going through or how you're feeling. And there's loads of opportunities to get help as well. There's Christians Against Poverty. There's so many great organisations to help with finances. But if that is you, we don't want you to be crippled by anxiety and fear over this. So I just love to pray for you right now. If that is you, maybe if you know that's someone in the hub, maybe someone's putting their hand up, why don't you pray for them? Someone in your household. Let's be family together. Everyone can pray. So I'd love to pray for you and then move into a time of worship this morning. So, yeah, Lord Jesus, thank you so much that you care for us. We can cast our cares upon you. And I do pray, if there is anyone right now, Lord, who is just worried about the finances, that keeps them up at night, it's the thing that they think about all the time, and maybe they haven't told anyone, Lord, I pray that you would just come and bring your peace and your comfort right now, just your hope, Lord. I ask for your wisdom as well in decisions that may need to be made. And I just pray for whoever this is, Lord, that they just have the courage and confidence just to share with other people. Thank you that you've placed us in this family, this incredible church family where we love and we're supporting each other. And thank you that you love us regardless of what we're going through, where we've been. You can't love us more and you can't love us any less, Lord. And we just thank you for that this morning. Just pray your peace over anyone who's feeling like that this morning. And just as we move into worship, God, we want to give you all the glory and all the praise, that you are worthy to be worshipped in this wonderful life you have given us, in the highs and in the lows, that you are with us and that you are worthy to be prayed. So we just worship you now, Lord. Amen. Amen.
conquers all anxiety. Let it rise, let praise arise. We'll sing your name in the dark and it changes everything. We sing with all we are and we claim your victory. So let it rise, let praise arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. Though creation cry God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, let faith be the song that overcomes the raging sea. Let faith be the song that calms the storm inside of me. Let it rise, let faith arise. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot survive when we praise you. The God of breakthroughs on our side. Forever lift him high. Though creation cry, God, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. Oh, we praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We'll praise you, we'll praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We'll praise you, we'll praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We'll praise you, we'll praise you. This is what living looks like. This is what freedom feels like. This is what heaven sounds like. We'll praise you, we'll praise you. We'll see you break down every wall. We'll watch the giants fall. Fear cannot see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy path throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross, my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ shall come with shouts of acclamation and take me home, for joy shall fill my heart. Then I shall bow in humble adoration and then proclaim, my God, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Here I am, humbled by your majesty, covered by your grace so free. Here I am, knowing I'm a sinful man, covered by the blood of the Lamb.
Now I found the greatest love of all is mine, since you laid down your life, the greatest sacrifice.
grace has found me just as I am, empty-handed but alive in your hands. Majesty, Majesty, forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Here I am, humbled by the love that you give, forgiven so that I can forgive. Here I stand, knowing that I'm your desire, sanctified by glory and fire.
Now I found the greatest love of all is mine, since you laid down your life, the greatest sacrifice.
Majesty, Majesty, your grace has found me just as I am, empty-handed but alive in your hands. Majesty, Majesty, forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty. Forever I am changed by your love, in the presence of your majesty.
I look left, check myself in my mirror, my hair's not great and I've got a big figure now. I could be slimmer, but I love dinner, and I'm not defined if I'm fatter or slimmer.
Sometimes I consider, when I see Insta, be quite nice to have a body that shimmers. A six-pack, maybe I'd like that, so nip to the gym, see the weights and then hit that.
Nah, cause that ain't me, I'll have a 12-piece bucket at KFC.
And I don't care what other people say they see, cause it's not from them that I find my security.
Could I be any clearer? How can I make you see? When you look in the mirror, there's more going on than it seems. So good, and we're loving life. Put your hands up if you're feeling fly. So good, and the feeling's right. Only wanna be myself tonight. So good, and we're loving life. Put your hands up if you're feeling fly. So good, and the feeling's right. Only wanna be myself tonight.
The magazines are loaded with many images, trying to make us forget about the image we're given. But I don't fit in, my image isn't thrilling. I figured the figure they flicker really is fiction. I don't mimic what I see on television, it's a gimmick, I don't get it, so I'm running from that vision. I'm one in a million, a limited edition, so why be someone else when I can be myself?
Could I be any clearer? How can I make you see? When you look in the mirror, there's more going on than it seems. So good, and we're loving life. Put your hands up if you're feeling fly. So good, and the feeling's right. Only wanna be myself tonight. So good, and we're loving life. Put your hands up if you're feeling fly. So good, and the feeling's right. Only wanna be myself tonight. I'm done concealing who I am inside. Can't stop this feeling. Ain't no need to hide. I'm done concealing. It's so phenomenal. Can't stop this feeling. So unstoppable. Yeah. You can't be no one else. So just express yourself. People may stop and stare. They realize we don't care. Cause it's real and it feels so good. And we're loving life. Put your hands up if you're feeling fly. So good. And the feeling's right. Only wanna be myself tonight. So good. And we're loving life. Put your hands up if you're feeling fly. So good. And the feeling's right. Only wanna be myself tonight. So good. So good. So good. So good. So good. Only wanna be myself tonight. So good. So good. So good. I'm feeling so amazing. So good. Only wanna be myself tonight.
Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. It's pretty fun song, just vibing on my own, listening to some beats. It was pretty fun. But guys, I read a story in the Bible the other day that I think I want to share with you. Is that all right? Can I share that with you guys? Okay? I think my Bible's over here. Here it is. Right. So this verse I read in my Bible, it's awesome, and I want to read it to you guys. And it's called Salt and Light. Chapter 5, verse 13. Okay, and it says this: You are salt and light of the earth, but if the salt loses its saltiness, how can it be made salty again? It's no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and trampled by people. You are the light of the world. A city on the hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before people, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. How cool is that verse? Now, I'm not the best cook, and that's okay. I don't want to be the best cook. And sometimes I don't really have much interest in cooking either. But I am someone who likes to experiment, likes to try new things, give things a go. And the best thing in the kitchen to do that is smoothies. So that's what I'm gonna do today. I'm gonna try and make a smoothie. You guys gonna help me? So let's go, let's see how it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna need my smoothie maker, my cup, which I kind of got earlier, need this, and a few ingredients, and we'll see what we'll pick up along the way. Now, some people will say to me, Dan, you're not a very good cook. You're awful. And if I cook food, you know, they kind of like don't say anything. I'm like, oh, it wasn't that great. 'Cause if it was good, they probably would have said, good job, Dan. And that kind of hurts. And it's the same for everything, right? Sometimes when we get told we're not very good at something, or someone says, oh, you know what, you're not very good about it, and we care about it, it can be really hard to take. And here's the thing, you know, it used to hurt me. It used to hurt me when people say things that I'm not very good at, or you're not very good at surfing, Darren, you're not very good at playing games, or you know what, school, you're not very good at it. You got bad grades, you didn't do very well. And sometimes that really hurts. But now, my identity doesn't lie there. My identity isn't in the things I do. So it doesn't matter if someone says, you know what, Darren, you're a bad cook, because I don't put my identity in cooking. If someone says, Darren, actually, you're not a very good surfer, they go, well, my identity isn't in surfing. And it could be my grades. Someone said to me in school, Dan, you're not very intelligent. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. Because my identity isn't in how well I do at school. or it isn't in how well I perform or do things. That isn't my identity. And this is a really good thing. My identity is in Jesus. And when our identities are in Jesus, we have a purpose. We have a meaning for our lives, and our lives mean something. So when people say we're bad at something, it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, my identity is in Jesus, and if my identity is in Jesus, I can never let him down. I can never fail him. He always cares for me, he always loves me, and he always wants the best for me. And that is why it's really important for our identities to be in God. To the smoothie, I'm gonna put a banana in. Okay, see how that goes. And we're gonna put an apple. Might need a knife here. Here we go, got a knife. So I'm gonna put an apple in. There you go, some apple. Ooh, I dropped this apple. Slightly bruised. Okay, put an apple in. Am I gonna put an orange in? Yeah, let's put an orange in. See how it goes. And I'm a huge fan of peanut butter, so there's gonna be a lot of peanut butter in this smoothie. Chuck the orange in. See how that goes. We got our peanut butter. See if there's anything else in the fridge. Put some salt in there. Got some salt and pepper, vanilla extract. Could be a bit of fun. Like vanilla. I feel like chia seeds are all the rage these days. Everyone loves chia seeds. Marshmallows. Marshmallows have to go in the smoothie. So I'll put some of those in. Oh, drop some on the floor. That's fine. Some chia seeds. See how that goes. That smells strong. Little bit, loads. Oh, that was quite a lot. See how that goes. Right, okay. Peanut butter. Absolutely love peanut butter. Get the spoon, chuck that in. I think the smoothie is gonna be pretty good. Right, we'll put that there. Some pepper and some salt, but I don't want to put too much. Let's crack it over there. Put it on my hand, and this is how we go. Put some salt in there, innit? Like this. And here's the thing, with salt, right? So on the verse it says we are supposed to be salt and light. What does that mean? How can we be salt? Well, salt is an amazing mineral. And when we look at salt, when we put it with food, can bring the best out of food. Now, I'm not sure if it's gonna bring the best out of this stuff when it's sweet, but when things are bland and boring, and they may not taste of anything, if you put salt in it, it brings the best out of it. It brings the goodness, the taste. It tastes amazing when you can put salt on stuff. So when God calls us to be salt and light of the earth, and he asks us to be salt, he wants us to be ourselves. And when our identity is in Jesus, we can be ourselves. And when we are ourselves, we can be that salt. We can bring our flavor, we can bring our character, the things we like, the things we're good at. We can bring that to the earth, to people around us, and we can be salty. You know, we can be different, we can bring that flavor. That's what God wants us to be. But in order to be salty, our identities need to lay and rest in Jesus. And also in that, God asks us to be the light of the world. But when God asks us to put a light in the world, he asks us to be light, to let our light shine. So when we're salty and we are ourselves, we can be light. And when we are light, we can shine bright. And when we shine bright, people are attracted to us. And not in the romantic sense, you know, that may be the case. But people are attracted to us because we're confident in ourselves, because our identities lie in Jesus, because we solely know who we are. You know, we love to enjoy the things we do, and we're proud of that and not ashamed of who we are. And then that shines bright, and then we are attractive. And people go, you know what? There's something about you that's different. There's something about you that I want. I want what you have. And that's what it means to be salt and light. And then they come to us, they ask about it, and what do you say? Well, I'm confident in myself, and I love who I am because Jesus loves me. You need to get to know him. You need to know this guy Jesus because he's awesome. And that's what part of being a light is sharing your faith, sharing your confidence and your love for God. And that's what it means to be salt and light of the earth. To be confident in yourself, in who you are as a child of God. To love yourself, to know who you are in that relationship with Jesus. And then be able to share that because people will be attracted to your confidence in who you are in God. Okay, should we see how this smoothie tastes? I'm a bit worried actually. So it's gonna get really loud. You ready? We'll count it down. 3, 2, 1. Look at that! So that's an experiment. We'll see how this smoothie tastes. You guys ready for this? Oh, it smells not great. Sometimes when you experiment, things don't go right. But should I try? Okay, you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Thank you for leading us in a time of worship there, team, and thank you again, kids team, for just a brilliant video. I love that we're able to do that, and it's great that we're starting to get these crossovers back in the church. And my kids loved the kids club the other week, and more to come, which is a really good thing. I just really wanted just to take this moment just to again recap on hubs, the whole vision of hubs and what we've started to share, and about our heart for bringing people back together, because that's what it's all about. We live in such unusual times. We've been through an unusual time, and we're looking at these next steps to come out of wherever it is, or adapt with whatever's ahead of us in the summer, and to start bringing people together, to celebrate the different faces in our church, to celebrate our diversity, but to come together in different ways and different spaces. And I think that phrase "steps" has just really resonated with me particularly this last week, and over the last few weeks when I had a conversation with Dave. I remember chatting to Dave about the hub concept, and he said some really wise words to me of just saying, just take the next step. What's the next step for us?
That's good.
And actually, I've spoke to so many people this week about just living in that next step. And on Thursday on Instagram Live, we started our new series on the fruit of the Spirit. And one of those, the verses in 5:25 in Galatians was, since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. And that theme has just been jumping out to me all week. What's our first step? What's our first step? And so hubs are our first step. Hubs are our way to bring people back together, to use social distancing wisely, to bring people into a safe space. It may be that we end up having some hubs in homes, but at the moment we're just focusing on the building and trying to get volunteers in there. And I just really wanted to encourage everyone. I know it's unknown, I know it's scary, but our heart is to bring people together, and this is the first step. Who knows what's ahead? But also, I just want to say that we also recognize that we, the church, are full of diversity right now, of those desperate to be together, those who are fearful to be together, those who are somewhere in between. Some people are frazzled and they don't know how to come out of this. So our heart is to keep meeting online, keep gathering around this content, keep making the crossovers, keep circles at the heart of things, but then to start bringing spaces where we can connect and come together as a community and a church. And it's gradual, it's little steps. This is the first step. And I have no idea what the announcements will be next week. I have no idea. And even just talking to Hannah, in the week, I have no idea what's ahead. I don't know what Boris's announcement is going to be for the 21st of June. But this is our first step. And we're going to go as a church together on this journey and to get to the next step together. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I just really wanted to encourage us that we're going on this journey in steps, and this is our first step. And we just wanted to have an opportunity now just to say, how do we get involved with hubs? What does it mean? And we've just got a few headlines, haven't we? Or hopefully of how to get involved, and there should be a slide that jumps up in front. But 4 different areas, and the first one is give. We're just asking people to give through prayer. We still meet on Zoom prayer. It's still a great way. I love Zoom prayer, that it's just so easy to connect, and particularly 7 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. It's a really special one. I love being up early, but it's just great because you can go there with your coffee, you can go there with your breakfast, and you can pray. But give some time to praying. Help us financially. We've talked about it before, but God loves our generosity in our hearts to help us pay for all this camera technology and the things no one sees, to help us get things back to normal, to help us do what we're doing, and to help us bless the community and those abroad, and also help with time. We need time, and Hannah's going to share a little bit about that in a minute, but that's one way of giving.
Yeah. So the first way to get involved is give. The second way to get involved is gather. And we've really said we are committed to keep going with what we've already been doing. So, we're still going to be online. We're still going to do that. We're still going to have Zoom prayer every day. We're still going to do our Instagram Live and all the digital content. And our circles are still going to meet together. And so just the challenge is to stay committed to connecting. Stay committed to your circle. Stay committed to prayer. Stay committed to the people and this family around us. Whether you're someone who actually doesn't feel like they can meet in big groups right now, start small. Start small, but stay connected to people. And then the second one we just want to just say a little bit is to come and try. We're starting this first hub. We're stepping out into the unknown as a church together. We don't know what it's going to look like in the future, but come and try and test it and come and see. Come and book yourself in. At the moment, we're still in our testing phase, but hopefully the next couple of weeks we'll open up to just come along and see what it's like in this new environment. And then also commit to that time slot. Commit to watching at 10 a.m. on a Sunday where we come all together, or as hubs start to open up. Commit to going at the time of your hub. Commit to being present. This year we haven't had to commit to time slots so much as much, but do that now. Let's gather together and stay gathered together. And I encourage you, be creative right now. Go for a walk with someone while it's sunny. Have that phone call, send a text message. Reach out to other people, and let's not stop gathering.
Definitely. And take part. How can we take part? We can take part by volunteering. And we've got a range of different roles that we're wanting to do, from hospitality and welcoming people and checking in people, helping us with cleaning the building. Cleaning is a whole new level now after COVID, so we need help with that in the week and on a Sunday. We need help with some of the events that we've started with. We've started the mums group in the week. So again, if you want to come and help just clean afterwards, we'd love that. And then it's making it happen, isn't it? It's how do we make it happen together? I think the last one is making it happen. Send us your videos is one option. What else can we do?
Well, I think, send us your videos. We love it when it's not just us on a Sunday talking. We love hearing different people's voices and testimonies of what God's doing, because God is doing a lot. So even if you're not confident with the camera, reach out to someone. DM would love to train people on how to be photogenic. Oh, should we do it?
So I've got a phone, I put it on video mode, and I go, hello, this is me.
And make sure you've got a good light in front of you, not behind.
It's fine.
There we go. Trained, sorted. But please send us your videos and help us make it happen. And also invite your friends. This is an amazing opportunity. It's never been easier to invite people to church. And we have our booking system. You can save a space for your friends. You can invite your friends to your circle, invite your friends to all the different things that we're doing online and in person. Let's look outwards beyond ourselves as well.
Yeah. And then, as I said, when we're open, let's start bucketing, let's start connecting, and let's start being the church, because our passion is bringing us all together as people. That's why we've gone for this model at the moment. We feel it's a bit COVID-proof, so we can adapt with whatever's ahead, and we'll take this first step. That's what it's all about. Remember, this is our first step, and I really just encourage you to join us on this journey as we go from here. And I'm now going to hand over, because that was a notice and a half, wasn't it?
It's good though.
But just
really
encourage
really
us, we're in it together. And so the more of us who chip in, the more we can make happen. So I'm going to hand over to Dan now from Emanate Project, which is a great online outreach for youth. And he's telling us how to get passionate about the Bible.
So good.
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you see or hear Bible? Long, boring, old, or irrelevant? Well, I'm here to give you 3 reasons why this book is pretty exciting. There are actually some pretty rad stories in this book. From wrestling lions, huge sea creatures, to love, betrayal and tragedy, epic battles, underdog stories and heroes, crazy miracles and mad flying angels. And there's even some pretty explicit poetry. It's been translated into hundreds of languages. It's even been written and illustrated by some of Marvel's finest artists. It's been made into poetry, songs, spoken word and even film. And it's actually alive today. So that means when you read it and you talk to God and you talk to God about the situations you're facing today. God will speak to you through this book. When you want to hear God's voice and hear Him speak to you, this is one of the ways He talks. So dive into this book, guys. It is so exciting. And give it a go and see what you think.
Brilliant. So today we're going to go off on a slight tangent, but add an extra one on our wonderful life series, which we've been covering over the last few weeks. And it's been brilliant just to look at different elements of how we're called to have a wonderful life and what that means. And today I've got an extra special guest in Johan. Thank you very much for being with us.
Adios.
Excellent. I firstly want to ask, well, I've said your name, but you've got an unusual accent for many people. And where are you from, and what do you do, I guess, as I pull you in?
Hi, I'm Johan. I'm a North American. I'm a Canadian. I'm from Vancouver.
Yeah.
I'm semi-retired. I'm a university lecturer. And believe it or not, I teach accountancy.
Accountancy. So it's not, and you've been doing that for how long?
About 40 years.
Yeah, excellent. That's good. And we've had many chats about money advice and different things over the years, haven't you? You've been quite helpful in that sense, and you've got a real passion for numbers.
I've just got a passion for anything.
Yeah.
But numbers do speak to me.
Yeah. Excellent. And so today I've pulled you in mainly because you reached out straight away when you had the new title, Wonderful Life. But we spoke a lot, haven't we, about this topic over the years. And I know something you're really passionate about joy, and particularly around Psalm 23. So give me a little bit of context of why, because I just love that you are so passionate about it.
Well, I don't know where to start. I will start with, I believe life is awesome, because that's what Canadians use for the word wonderful. And I wake up some days and say, how come I am so convinced of this? And I just put it into context. This journey actually started in 2008. I'm on a train somewhere in the middle of Brazil, and I'm having some trouble sleeping. And I start to repeat Psalm 23. And 13 years later, I often put myself to sleep reciting Psalm 23. And within Psalm 23, there are, in my view, three really amazing pieces of advice as to why life is wonderful. And I know there are many different versions of Psalm 23, but is curious is that Psalm 23 keeps coming up as a source of inspiration. And it's always in the context of wellness and joy. So hopefully what I can share with you today are some of the reasons that Psalm 23 speaks to me.
Okay, and I'm just going to pull it up, so we'll do that, because I just want to read it. But I know you'll recite it. Sorry, I didn't plan.
The Lord is my shepherd.
There you go.
I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Oops. Why don't you read it?
All right, okay, I'm going to read it. So let me read that, Johan. Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd. And actually, before I read this, I don't know, I watched something about this psalm. I've watched different talks about this psalm. And it's very easy, isn't it? The Lord is my shepherd. But I want to read it with a bit of passion because you've inspired me to do that. The Lord is my shepherd. I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely your goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Well read.
It's an amazing psalm, isn't it?
Isn't it? Now,
So talk to me a little bit. What gets you going with this psalm?
Well, to me, it's got three really curious themes. And the first one is, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. This idea that, and this, the first thing that I take away from it is a very simple refrain I use. It says, let go, let God, let good. And if you look at how those lines read, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He is God, he makes me. So I'm getting ordered to lie down in green pastures. And that is so wonderful, were I a sheep. But in the human context, equally, he leads me beside still water. So when I read Psalm 23, God is telling me something. So first of all, I have to let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I become God-centered, and then wonderfully, good things happen.
So the let go thing's really like powerful, actually, isn't it? Because like, as you say, like we can easily, in our own mindset, just run full pelt. I'm going to control this. I'm going to sort this out. But the commandment there is he makes me stop.
Absolutely. So it's disempowering.
Yeah.
It's letting go. And I think to start with, if you want to appreciate life as a wonderful experience, you have to let go. There's stuff. There's baggage. Now, it's more than letting go, but I think letting go is essential to making life more wonderful. Now, what I like next is it becomes God-centered. And I take that very seriously.
Yeah. And what do you mean by that?
Well, if you're going to let go, something has to fill that void.
Yeah.
And you can make that money or your career. But if you can become God-centered, which is the let God, things happen. And that's why I let good. To me, the disempowering part is letting go.
Yeah.
The empowering part is allowing goodness to occur. And if life is wonderful, it must be because good things are happening. And we have to be open to wonderful things. We have to allow for it. We have to be observant. So the more I repeat those let go, let God, let good, the more opportunities I see, Matt, nice things happen. You know, we could wait forever for a good moment, or we could say, like today, there were moments of sunshine followed by small drizzles of rain.
Yeah.
And I think the wonderful thing is those moments when it's sunny and the sun comes through, and you say, isn't that wonderful? So the let go, let God, let good really means we have to look for and subtly appreciate those moments, which are so many on a daily basis, that are good. What I like about Psalm 23 also is it's very intentional.
Right.
It's full of intent. And there's a quote I quite live by. It says, whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
So if you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
That's right. So whatever you have convinced yourself to be,
Right.
you're right. So we could look at this talk as life is wonderful or life isn't wonderful. And that's a choice.
Okay.
And that's the intentionality. To me, the Psalm 23 is very intentional. You've got to put action to it. You've got to commit.
Yeah.
You've got to put your soul and your circumstances into some kind of context. And I think Psalm 23, for me, puts me into a frame of mind and a context that's just inspiring. It gets me going.
Okay. And in what sort of sense? Because I think, like, you're right. Like the letting go bit, I think is a really powerful concept for us all. That it was too easy for us, isn't it? Just to hold control. I want to be in control. I think that filling that void then when we let go with God, I think is so powerful, because it's so easy to self-medicate these days, like on so many things, from binging on Netflix to cash to all kinds, and like the letting God in. And I guess so it's like, in that context, like I'm just looking at that line there, though even I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff comfort me. And there's a lot of power in that, isn't there?
Absolutely.
Like an awful lot of power if you really start to grasp the concept of like, okay, he's not saying, I won't take you through the shadow of death. He said, even though I walk through the shadow of death, I will. It was like, I will be with you.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. The difficult things happen, isn't it? Because I think that's hard for some people, isn't it? The wonderful life concept is hard when we're in the middle of a valley. But I think what we're trying to talk about now and extract, which is something I know you're really passionate about, is Psalm 23 is about finding the God in the valley, finding the good in the valley. So what does finding good in a valley look like for you?
Well, there's a trite saying that says every cloud has a silver lining. And I largely believe that my life is littered, as yours is likely, with mishaps and unfortunate situations, death, and all sorts of difficult circumstances. But in all those different moments and the consequence thereof, there has been something providential and graceful that came out of it. I mean, there's sometimes they talk about the erase test. Imagine you could get an eraser and you could erase some moment in your life and say, that moment didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now, if that moment didn't happen, you'd have to undo all the consequences of that moment to this present moment. And you know what, Matt? I wouldn't be here. So, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we all face hardships. And I accept that. And I don't dismiss it for a moment as something that's trivial or insignificant. It is a big deal. That's where the letting go comes in. You just got to let go of it and say, God, your master plan, I accept it. And it will work out for the good. I mean, God is graceful and full of grace. He's also providential, which means God believes in the long run.
Okay.
And that's really important. And what I like about that line later on is that your rod and your staff. And the rod and your staff are sort of like, the rod is sort of pushing you, and the staff is sort of, it's a good and a bad. So God's got boundaries.
Right.
That on the good and the bad. It leads you to good things, and it punishes you or keeps you in line on the bad things. So what I like about Psalm 23 is there's also some bounds, that God provides excellent guidance.
Yeah.
And excellent empowerment. And to me, that's just wonderful. It allows goodness to occur.
So that's a bit like, I guess, what Chris was speaking about a few weeks ago, just that context of like the scriptures and like, and what Mike shared, that they're not just there to like be laws, but it's there to sort of guide us in this life that we're living, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We need guidance.
Yeah. And the scriptures are full of it. And you're right. Like I like that visual concept, and I love the Psalms in that sense of how we can extract so much out of it. So let go, let God, let God. Like what does that mean for you in your everyday? Like what? Like give me an example.
Well, for me, it's not hard to let go. And I don't say that lightly, is that life is what life is. But that doesn't create a void in me. Letting go of good and bad things is to become God-centered, whatever that letting go is of. It's what it's going to be filled with. Is it going to be filled with grief and sorrow and sadness? Or am I simply going to allow for the fact that God's got some master plan, and whatever that is, which I don't understand, will eventually lead to good? I have to believe that God is good. And if I don't accept that basic premise, I'm kind of in trouble.
Okay.
So what is that good? Well, that good may be not the good I was hoping for.
Right.
Sometimes you have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if I look back over my life circumstances, all 68 years of it, there's a lot of stuff that went down. And it wasn't always pretty.
Yeah.
But when I wake up this morning, I'm just full of praise. it seems to have worked out. I have to believe that God has an intent to allow goodness to be manifested in my life. It does take an intention. That's the whole point. You have to intend and believe in the possibility that life is wonderful. And that takes a bit of conviction and a bit of determination and a bit of pig-headedness. But that's okay. I mean, the opposite is saying, yeah, life is, well, I'll take it as it comes. And I'll judge, and if it doesn't meet my measure of it's not good enough, I'm sorry, I come from a view that life is good. I mean, when I'm cycling, or yesterday I was driving somewhere, and I got a string of like 6 green lights. That was 6, God is good, God is grace. And when I get a red one, I say, okay, someone else got a green one, it's good for them.
Yeah.
I look for good. I seek it out. There's bad out there, but that's not in my main center of vision. There's an optimism there for whatever it is. And that's the good. You can say, let go, let God, let bad.
Yeah.
Oof. That's not going where I want to go.
Yeah.
Or let go, let God, okay.
Yeah.
If we are Christians, we ought to be optimists. I mean, that whole notion of shalom, of peace, is so immense. But it's all based on goodness and God-centered. So the let go, let God, I've seen that on bumper stickers. The let good to me is really the point. That's the reward. And that's where it's at. And to keep your eye on the good. Maybe you say, life, let go, let God, it's not quite good enough. I don't buy that. I don't want to negotiate good. I just have to believe in the notion of goodness. It just gets me through the day.
It's it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, you could say, oh, isn't that just sort of psychology, sort of concepts and all this sort of stuff? But it's actually like, I've always been amazed, and this is something for me, like in my life, like Paul was content in all circumstances. He knew contentment in the shipwreck, in the prison, in to be having no food, in hunger, to have everything. And it's like, it's how we live a faith, as you say, which glorifies God, and glorifies God in the circumstances.
Absolutely.
And I've got a big thing here, grace. I know you're really passionate about grace, but grace is getting what we don't deserve in simple terms, isn't it? It's
well, there's that line in Psalm 20 that says, "You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemies." And it took me about 9 years to figure out what that strange line is. You're gotten all this stuff about, yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow. And it says, "You prepare a table for me in the presence of my enemy." I says, what is the thought there? And finally he says, that's grace. Isn't it bizarre? Isn't it amazing? Isn't it weird that in the most bizarre of all places, you have a table prepared behind your enemies? Now, if that isn't grace, I don't know what grace is. It is such an interesting idea. Maybe there's another explanation for why it's there, but for the simple accountant, that's what it means to me. Is that it's the most unusual thing, and grace is so central to the whole notion of life is wonderful. And to see grace, because that's the good. That's the good. I mean, so I look for grace, and it gets me up. It keeps me up. Life is wonderful because of grace. I mean, if you'd stripped grace out of Christianity, you'd have a pretty hollow religion, which would probably very quickly evaporate. Grace is hardwired in my view of Christianity and wellness.
It's the most amazing thing about a relationship with God is that he loves us so much. He pours his love onto us and he gives us what we don't deserve. And that's the heartbeat of Christianity.
Absolutely.
It's grace, and I love the word in Ephesians, I think I said it the other week, was he lavishes his love and grace and mercy on us. He lavish, and it's like that. Just, I think I sent a text message to some friends. It was like, I read this word lavish, and it's like, it's not just Joe's ice cream with a few sprinkles on the top. It's like the whole parlor, like covered in chocolate and sprinkles and all the flakes you could ever imagine. It's like, that's how much he lavishes his grace and his love and that redemption and forgiveness onto us, isn't it?
I mean, I use this example. Am I a 3 p.m. Christian or a 3 a.m. Christian?
Okay.
And by what I mean, at 3 p.m., to be a Christian is kind of okay. It's when you wake up at 3 in the morning and your life is going places you really don't like. You're difficult, you're having trouble sleeping. And that's where grace comes in. That's where I let go, let God, let good, let grace. Something's happened at work. Johan's put his foot in his mouth again.
You wouldn't do that, would you?
I've done that more than once. Okay, or something like that. And you're not in a very nice place. That's where grace speaks to me at 3 in the morning. I let go, let God, let good. And then I actually, if you want to get technical, you go let go, let God, let good, let grace. And that's that 3 a.m. Christianity. And I am such a fan of 3 a.m. Christianity that I'll be a Christian at 3 p.m. just because that whole idea of there's a solution, there's a remedy, there's hope. And that's why life is wonderful.
So, my cup overflows.
Wow. Okay. I don't know how many times, Matt, you've been asked this question. It's a fairly common one. Is your cup half full or half empty? And Matt, what do you say?
Well, since you've said this to me for the last few years, I think differently. It's like, well, it's half full. But most reactions, and my first reaction was, well, it's half empty.
Okay, well, there is no right answer to this question. Is your cup half full or half empty? I mean, part of it is if you say it's half full, you're an optimist, and if it's half empty, you're a pessimist. And this question troubled me for a long time. And there's actually a better question. Okay. Is your cup half full, half empty? Or do you just need a smaller cup? And if you look at the line, my cup overflows, what is David really saying? I've got a smaller cup, and it's actually brimming and overflowing. So when people say to you, is your cup half full, half empty? I say, and in my heart, I absolutely believe, I've actually got a smaller cup. And it's near overflowing. It's not 50-50. Now, that doesn't mean I have a small cup. I've just got a smaller cup than otherwise. And why life is wonderful is it's about being grateful. It's about managing your wellness. I mean, what is life is wonderful? It's actually a fraction. It's a fraction. It's a ratio of what you have over what you want. And if what you want is huge, compared to what you have, you're going to live a life that has a rather less happy outcome. An important part of life is wonderful is managing expectation. That doesn't mean over time you can't increase the volume of all the goodness in your life and be aspirational. I'm not saying that. That doesn't mean I've got a really small cup and I'm happy with very little. It means for my entire life, I've always made sure that I came from bounty and abundance. My cup was nearing overflowing. So when I think of life and life is wonderful, my cup is smaller. And a smaller cup is more likely to overflow. And isn't that really the point that David's making? My cup's overflowing. He's really saying, I am just so full of joy. It's brimming out of me. Well, that's not going to happen if you've got a cup that's this big. It's more likely to happen if you've got a cup this big.
I think it's a really interesting point because it's like, I think for me that in that is like, it's about having an overflow of our relationship with God and overflow of the Holy Spirit in our life. But actually, like, there's a phrase which I'm thinking of as you mention this, of like, God will give you the grace for your race and like no one else's. God will give you the grace for your race and no one else's. And just for me, that concept of like, it's really easy, isn't it, to like, particularly in the world we live in, of like image and like Facebook scrolling.
Status,
I want
friends.
that life. I want that life. But it's like actually God has called me to a particular life, and he's going to make your cup overflow in that life he's called you to. And that could well be like a career that you think is personally you think is a dead-end career, but actually it's an absolute blessing to many, many people. And he's saying, no, I've given you a grace for this life, and I want you to pour out into it, and I'm going to give you everything you can to live in it. And I guess it's like, that just really, I don't know, it just really makes me think of like how we can really like focus in on what God has called us to and overflow out of it, as opposed to going, I want to be there and then just overstretch, or I want to be there and you're on the treadmill of life where you'll never ever and it's like you'll just always want more, but
the
it's
hedonistic treadmill, yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So why does Psalm 23 speak to people? I mean, if you go to a hospital in the hospice area, what do they do on the back of the pastor's card? It's got Psalm 23 on it. There's something about it that just resonates. And it sort of really spoke to me initially with my cup overfloweth. That's where it kind of like, how do you get your cup to overflow? And then you start playing the video backwards. And if you look at Psalm 23, if I look at the three ideas, let go, let God, let good, the notion of grace, and the idea, is your cup half full, half empty, or a smaller cup? It really comes down to gratitude. Life is wonderful, but to cause this wonderful treadmill to occur, as opposed to the hedonistic one, is it has to come out of gratitude. I mean, someone once said, joy is gratitude grounded in grace.
So say that again. Joy is gratitude.
Grounded in gratitude.
Okay.
No, joy is gratitude grounded in grace.
Okay.
No matter the circumstances.
Okay.
So, and gratitude is so essential. It's the vitamin C of wellness. And if you find gratitude, it brims through in terms of allowing for allows for goodness, it allows for grace, it allows for a smaller cup that's more aspirational and achievable. So life to me is wonderful, but let's be clear, I just have to put the energy in and the conviction. It's just not going to be wonderful, and then you kind of go ho-hum. No, to me, to believe life is wonderful is an active, intentional view of life. And to me, Psalm 23 just is a nice way to encapsulate it and to give me something fairly simple that captures why, in my view, life is wonderful. I always like to add this little small point. What also bothered me, besides the you prepare a table for me, is some versions of the Psalm 23, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I thought, why would you want it following you? Well, more modern translations say, surely goodness and mercy shall pursue me. And I like the idea that goodness and mercy is chasing you. It's pursuing you. It's not following you. It's actually actively seeking to be manifest in you. So whenever I recite that verse, I always change the word to shall pursue me. And then the whole idea of the way Psalm 23 ends, it's just, it puts you to sleep. It puts you in a really good place. It puts you in grace.
I think it puts you into letting go, doesn't it? And I think that's
Absolutely.
What the summary of it all is. It's about letting go, trusting God, filling ourselves with God, to like, it's almost like putting the God goggles on.
Absolutely.
In life, because we are called to a life in all its fullness, as it says in John 10:10. The thief comes to steal and destroy. I have come to give you life in all its fullness. And I think there's something in that we just need to grasp onto and hold on to, isn't it, in life?
Yeah, and as Christians, we should be the most optimistic people going. And I seriously believe that we have the tools and the ability to believe that. It just isn't always easy. But life is wonderful. But even so, there are rainy days. And I certainly feel the pain of those people who are in periods where things aren't going well. But your day will come.
I think just on that, like I know a few weeks ago we had the horrific weather, but just that concept of like the sun is always shining, and sometimes it's hidden behind the clouds. And I think when it's raining, that's when we need to rally around each other. We need to stand with one another. We need to pray with one another. We need to support one another and love one another, so we can say, look, the sun is still shining. Let go, let God in, and then like there is some goodness that we can see here.
Absolutely.
That's good. Thank you again, Johan, for just coming to share that and just extract some of those thoughts you have around Psalm 23 and how we can really grasp this concept of just letting go and allowing God to come into our heart and our life. And what does that mean for us? What does that mean for us in our everyday? And I know I know you're sitting with me, and I know we've chatted many times, but to be full of joy in even the circumstances, to be full of joy even in the valley of the shadow of the darkest, and it's like He will be with us. He is with us. And so I think there's plenty there for us to all take home today and just think about and really can have a look at in Psalm 23.
We just really want to take a moment just to reflect on all that God's been saying through that conversation with Matt and Johan and allow him to speak to us. So what's going to happen is we're going to put up a slide in a moment and have some worship music playing underneath, and just encourage you in your hubs, maybe discuss the questions that come up, but have a little reflection amongst yourselves of what's God saying to me right now, and have a time of prayer. If you're watching at home, even if you're by yourself, just allow God to speak to you. What is he saying to you? Through what Johan said and through what Matt said, and how does he want to meet with us this morning. So we're just going to take time to allow the Holy Spirit to speak to us now.
My soul on Jesus, when the mountains shake, I put my trust in Jesus. The moment I awake, and when my soul so I upon his shoulders safely brought this far. Helper of my helpless soul, the King of broken hearts. His love is like the mighty ocean. His love for me will never stop. Oh, his arms are strong enough to carry me through it all by the grace of God. When breath grows still and night draws near, I will not be afraid. I know the plans He has for me don't finish at my grave. When breath grows still and night draws near, I will not be afraid. I know the plans He has for me don't finish at my grave. His love is like the mighty ocean. His love for me will never stop. Oh, His arms are strong enough to carry me through it all by the grace of God. You are the passion of my life, Lord Jesus. You are the song within my soul, my strength, my hope, my all in all is you, Jesus. You are the passion of my life, Lord Jesus. You are the song within my soul, my strength, my hope, my all in all is you, Jesus. Your love is like the mighty ocean. His love for me will never stop. Oh, His arms are strong enough to carry me through it all by the grace of God. Through it all by the grace of God.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. It's been great to round off our Wonderful Life series. It's been great just to connect and share again more of our hearts. But remember, this is the first step. We're doing this together. We're all in it together. And we want everyone to come on the journey, and we want to make church as accessible as possible. So have a great bank holiday, have a great day, and then we'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week. We start our God of the Impossible series. So praying that you know He's God of the impossible this week.
Excellent.
See
you later.
Soon. Bye.
Bye.